Peace family, Vie Darling, the cosmic queen, and your intergalactic interpreter, and we are going to get a look at, we're going to get some insight about what to expect for Sagittarius season. I am pulling an overall energy card, and then we're going to find out what to expect for mind, body, and spirit. With this reading, we're kind of asking, like, you know, what needs to be integrated and how we're going to do that integration, because as y'all know, this is a platform that really focuses a lot on becoming a true alchemist, like becoming truly sovereign. And in order to do that, you have to you have to be able to do shadow work. You can't do you cannot be a true alchemist. You cannot be a master manifester unless you are sovereign. And if you're not doing shadow work, you're not sovereign. Okay, so that's one of the things that, like, we really have been being called to understand. Scorpio season exposed a lot about the deep, dark depths of our being. And I want you to just, like, go back and really consider what was up for you. If you don't have a book of shadows where you are keeping a record of what is up for you, like journaling, you need that. It is critical. It is crucial for any master manifester, anybody with a sacred practice. Like, you need to be able to go back to different points in different cycles and pinpoint what was there before, what wasn't there before, and like progress. Check in with your progress, you know, track your progress, track your changes. And so go back and look at whatever was happening during Scorpio season and what was revealed, because that is what is going to be your wealth. Okay, that is what you're going to take and transmute. That the thing about Scorpio is it's the ruler of the underground, it's the ruler of other people's wealth, it's the ruler of you know, precious minerals, because wealth is found under the ground. Okay, first of all, it used to be an agriculture god. Mars did, and Mars is the ancient planetary ruler of Scorpio. I would say that the true ruler of Scorpio is Eris, but we could talk about that, but you know, Eris and Aries are cis twins. One's masculine, one's feminine, and they are gods of war and, you know, frankly, gods of chaos. But Aries actually used to be the god of, he used to be an agriculture god. And what is agriculture? What is war if not, like, acquiring that which you desire, that which you seek? Desire has to do with Venus, so you have to know what you desire. You need to know. And I'm seeing an image of Jack Sparrow with his compass, which he doesn't know, like, it's always spinning around and around and around because he doesn't know what he wants. And this is why he's constantly looking, you know, he's constantly looking, he's constantly, like, just all over the place, falling to pieces, kind of. He is a master. He is. Everyone knows about him. He is a master at navigating the seas as a pirate. But the thing is, he's not sovereign, because sovereign people know what they want. The compass pointed to your heart's true desire. So there's a scene where it finally stops spinning all around, and he picks up a bottle of rum and it starts spinning all around again. You need to know what your heart's true desire is, and that has to do with Venus. The thing about Sagittarius and Scorpio is, like, when you don't have a lot of energy, when you just feel laid out and bare, it becomes very clear to you, like, what is actually really important and what needs to be the priority, right? Like, because if you only have so much resources, so much energy, you have to be very select about where you're directing that energy and where you're directing those resources, right? So when you find solid ground, that's what we've been searching for in Scorpio season, is like excavating all of the unsolid, like shale, if you will, getting rid of all of that like rocky soil, so that we can like lay a foundation that we can actually launch off from. Because imagine like you're trying to launch a rocket and the foundation is just wobbling everywhere. When you direct that rocket, when you direct that arrow, you've got to be sure of your target, whether you're riding around on a horse or not. You know what I mean? So a sharpshooter is going to be able to shoot their shot whether or not they're on solid ground. Okay, that was a word. That was a word. A sharpshooter is going to be able to shoot their shot whether or not they are on solid ground. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. That's the fourth dimension of consciousness. Unconditional love and unconditional truth. Let that be your foundation. And it will destabilize anything that's not built upon that. But that is the dual helix of the DNA of divinity. And that's what's going to take you to the fountain of youth. If you remember, in the fourth Pirates movie, that's what they're looking for. That's what they're trying to do, is get to the fountain of youth. Okay. So the overall energy I get is 𝗪𝗏𝗁 from the Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle deck. And at the bottom of the deck, we get Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. 𝗪𝗏𝗁, where are you being called to journey to? So the question is, as I said before, we're being asked, and if we're gonna get clarifiers, we're gonna get clarifiers. But I don't want to go too long, so I think that we're gonna probably not do a bunch of clarifiers. But this is what you were born for. You were born for this. I'm hearing that Paramore song. Everybody sing. It's the last time you will ever sing. Tell me, do you feel the pressure? Everybody live. Like it's the last day you will ever see. Tell me, do you feel the pressure? Something, she says like, something, we were born for this. All right, so you think you're ready. Go ahead, so you say this with me now. We were born for this. So that's what's up. You at this point in time, we have to just be sure of who we are, you know, and sure of, no matter, I know that outside we are standing on unsolid ground. We're standing on shaky ground. You know what I mean? But we can ground down into our integrity. Not the ground outside doesn't need to look stable, because this was never stable. This was never solid ground. This was never a solid foundation to ground into. You know what I mean? It was always unsustainable. And I want you to consider the ways in which you are holding back from telling the truth, because that's the thing about Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a truth teller. Never lying, truth teller. That Rihanna rain just won't let up. What did she say? All black Maybach, gonna rock this shit like fashion. Hasn't going till I say stop. And my runway never looked so clear, but the baddest in heels right here. no fear. I don't remember all the words. What is that song called? I'm so hard, yeah, that's what it is. That's so funny. That's so funny. Because I just uploaded, if y'all didn't see, I just uploaded part 1 of the Rihanna intergalactic crystal ball that myself and a young man that I was friends with for some time, we made that last summer, in summer 2023. I want to say it was like July. And it was like, it was juicy then, but it's even juicier now because everything like kind of has been validated, which is exciting. So much of like what we said has been validated. And so, ooh, 𝗪𝗂𝗶𝗃. But what I wanna, she's from Baltimore. What I want to say about this is, put my headphones in. I'm hoping that like the microphone sounds better now, because I have a microphone, as y'all have maybe seen. I have a microphone, but like it turns off randomly even when it's like charged. So I don't use it because if it turns off and I'm recording, all that is not going to get into the song. So I don't like that, or into the video. But where your heart was hardened, where your heart, actually, what I'm picking up from this is diamonds are forever. Throw your diamonds in the sky if you feel the vibe. Diamonds are forever. The rock is still alive every time I rhyme. Forever, ever, forever, ever. Yeah, like, I don't know what is coming up, but I feel like there's a renaissance coming. There's a renaissance of creativity coming, and we don't have right now any true superstars that we have chosen as our superstars. We have people that are being like, they're trying to force upon us, but we don't have superstars that like, you know, they have star power. We had that with Kanye. We had that with Rihanna. And I'll give it to Jay-Z. He had talent in picking people who had star power. You know, before Beyonce got together with Jay-Z, she was not the Beyonce that we know today. B-Day, which she stole her sound from 𝗂𝗪. Let's not forget about that. She stole her sound from a lot of other people, and she tore down a lot of other people for her to be able to be in the spot that she's in right now. Let's just be honest. But what happened in the context to make that even possible was that like Destiny's Child ended, and they stayed ended, and I give them credit for that, because a lot of other groups will like end and then they'll come back, and you see this all the time with the like rappers and like singers, and they're like, I'm retiring, and then they come back and they're like, I'm retiring, and it's just like, okay, like, are you just saying that for attention now? Like, are you actually like retiring? Like, you know what I mean? But the thing about that was that like Destiny's Child ended, and they ended on a good foot. They ended on a good note. Like that last album gave what it needed to give. You know what I mean? And they ended at the perfect time, because around when they were ending, they were on 106 in Park. I remember very distinctly their song, that song, what is it? Girl, I can tell you, He's been lying and you needing somebody. Oh, I can tell you've been crying and needing somebody to talk to. Girl, that, I don't know how this came to be a pop culture history lesson, but that song was charting, obviously. Specifically, the music video was charting on 106 in Park. And that was around the time that shows like 106 in Park, I mean, TRL was already over and done, but 106 in Park, it took a while before that went off air. But when they switched over to having 𝗪𝗁 and Terrence, whatever the fuck his name was, it died after that because honestly, like, nobody cared about them. Nobody was interested in them. They didn't have that same vibe. And it just signaled the end of an era. And then we moved into this era, and the people who dominated this era, like, all of them were on 106 in Park. I don't remember if Rihanna was ever on 106 in Park. I remember seeing Cassie perform Me and You on 106 in Park. I had to put the cat off of the table. Don't come up here. He wants to come up here, but I just put some tea up here. I remember her performing Me and You on 106 in Park. But the thing about it is they all, like, I remember when Kanye and 50 Cent were on 106 in Park. No, man, I really hope he doesn't knock my cup over. And yeah, like, Kanye dominated the past 15 years. Beyonce dominated the past 15 years. Rihanna dominated the past 15 years. In terms of non-Black artists, you know, when I think about the people who really dominated, I genuinely, like, obviously have to think about, like, who that would be. I really can't say. I can't remember anyone other. See, he just laid down on my phone. So good thing I put my headphones on. But I can't remember anybody who had as much star power as those three people, and they were Rock Nation. And I say this to say, you know, Destiny's Child, they stopped making music at the perfect time because they left on a good note, and they left at a time where, like, the culture as it was over. It was ending, and it was still in a time where it was still good enough, but then things went too far, went too long, as with like 106 in Park, for instance, and they had to shut that down, right? Even when they tried to do MTV Spring Break, like when they tried to have the Jersey Shore people do it, it was like, this is not like original MTV Spring Break, which I used to watch as a kid. And yeah, when I saw the Jersey Shore, that they tried to do it with the Jersey Shore, I was just like, this is not giving what it needs to give. So they stayed too long at the party is what I'm hearing. So then the next thing is you need to know when to leave. You need to know when to leave. You need to know when to say goodbye. And with certain relationships, I feel like we're exposed in relationships to ourselves, relationships to others. We're exposed during Scorpio season, but it was the perfect time for Beyonce to transition to being a solo artist. When she released B-Day, she was doing movies, really big movies too, you know, like Cadillac Records, for instance. That was a really big deal. I remember seeing it in theaters with my mom. And because of Amy Winehouse, jazz was having a really big moment. And so, yeah, Beyonce is able to establish herself as a superstar in that time in her own right, but she wasn't really like on that level by herself until she got like connected with Jay-Z. And that's, I guess, like what I'm trying to say. Why this is coming up right now, I don't know. But yeah, this song specifically, I was like, okay, she's talking about hard, and then I heard the Diamonds song, and it's just to say that this is the end of an era, this is the end of an age. And instead of trying to think about how to go back and like what to go back to, I think it's time to consider the concepts. And that's the thing with Sagittarius. Sagittarius is able to see the concepts, you know, and understand abstract concepts, I would say. And what's it called? Capricorn, which is the following sign, is able to delineate those things. You know, Sagittarius can be very nebulous, but Sagittarius is that like lightning rod where they're getting like very high vibrational information. And it can be too much sometimes. It can be too much, and it can cause what I'm being told to say is it can cause what is apparently schizophrenia. And because of not wanting to seem crazy, quote unquote, it's a pejorative term, but like not wanting to seem crazy, they end up wanting like, they end up going too far. And that's when we get into like the Capricorn, like rigidity. Because of just wanting to be so expressive. And I guess like what I was saying is like Sagittarius like will say what they'll say anything. You know what I mean? Like maybe people don't think of Sagittarius as truth tellers. Never lying, truth teller. But that's what that Rihanna rain just won't let up. All black on, blacked out shades, blacked out Maybach. I'ma rock this shit like fashion as and go until they say stop. And my runway never looks so clear, but the hottest in heels right here. No fear. And so this is what I'm trying to say is like, to be sovereign, you have to tell the truth. To be sovereign, you have to be a real one. Like, you can't be lying to yourself. And like, you may have been feeling like you hit bottom, like, I can't take this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm tired of this. Like, how much more am I going to be expected to take? How much more am I going to be expected to deal with? But in the clarifying cards, I got King of Swords. So where are you being called to journey to? You may have been going in all kinds of different directions because you were looking for material. You were looking for material markers of you having what you needed and what you wanted. You were looking for material markers of you having. You were looking for external validation to prove that you were doing what it is that you were meant to be doing, that you were on the right path, when it's actually about following your heart. Okay, so that's what we're coming back to. Once again, we have the King of Swords and we have the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. I want to say, stop being so generous. Like, stop being so generous. Keepers of the earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Ten of Pentacles. God needs to know that you're not going to squander your pearls before swine before giving you the actual opportunity to really to really be able to do what you're supposed to do with the inheritance. And inheritance has to do with Scorpio also. You had to prove that you could do it. And so there have been a lot of karmic, you see, I dropped my cards and the world is up right here. You had to break a lot of karmic cycles in the past season, in the past month. And you just had to go with your integrity, 333 on the timer, and actually it's 1333. You had to just, I'm hearing like go with God. And ancestors, that has to do with 8th house. It has to do with Scorpio as well. And your ancestral inheritance, your ancestral abundance, your ancestral wealth, right? So what's under the ground? Diamonds. What do I call you guys? Diamonds. Because when you're actually mastering, and this is to say, actually, it's not just the last season as in the last like Scorpio season, but for in the last season, you've been doing a lot of work, and you need to know that and put down the burden. Stop burdening yourself with other people's expectations and other people's desires for you. 10 of Wands in the reverse. We also have 6 of Wands in the reverse, because that's what's been keeping you from being successful in your own right. You're always going to be running to the next thing, never savoring what you have and where you are, which is telling me you need to slow down. But you're always going to be running to the next thing, never savoring never savoring where you are and never appreciating what you have, because it's not what you want. It's not what you want. I can see the card, how can you mother yourself, in the deck under 𝗵𝗻𝗄. So what is that? Star Mother. And I do feel like there's been a lot of divine feminine energy throughout Scorpio season. This is asking you, like, on Christ is solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. They want to give you the help that you need, the resources that you need, but they want you to prove that you are worthy of it. And it's not like, oh, like in the capitalist sense, no, like, oh, I'm going to work so hard. No, like, can you actually be the person that you need to be? Are you going to protect it? Are you going to honor it? Are you going to steward it and cherish it and keep it safe? Nourish this seed so that it can grow. I call y'all diamonds because we are making 𝗪𝗏 as the third eye. And they put up the Rock Nation sign as a pyramid that they put up in front of their third eye, in front of the forehead. They always put it up in front of the forehead. Rock Nation, diamonds. I don't know if those people have 𝗪𝗏, if I'm being honest with you. It makes me think about the diamond sun DNA. But yeah, the overall energy is like, King of Swords, you need to know exactly where you're going and not get distracted. And you need to trust that regardless of whatever's going on externally, that you're on the right path because you're following your heart. You may have been made to not trust your heart in the past. I do feel like you might be going on an adventure. This is what I'm picking up for some people, okay? You're going to be invited on an adventure, and it's like, this is why you're not supposed to be investing so deeply into where you are right now, because God's about to move you. That is a verse. I don't remember. I know that we read about this and we talked about this in the newsletter. If you don't know what newsletter I'm talking about my newsletter. It's called, what is the newsletter called? The Mysteries, 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗄𝗃.substack.com. It's called The Mysteries, and you can subscribe. It's $11.11 a month, but if you subscribe for the annual membership, you get 2 months free. And Victory, we get 4 of Wands go in the outgoing position. Stop squandering your pearls before swine. Stop being so open to everybody. Don't do that, like, for this Sagittarius season, because Sagittarians, we love to give of ourselves, every fucking thing. And then our cup will be empty and we'll be like, oh, crashing out. People who give too much of themselves It's because we actually deep down know how valuable we are and how of value we are. But there's a cognitive dissonance where we also feel like we're not worthy and we're not valuable. And thus we're giving something to the situation. And you have to sit in the discomfort of being able to accept and receive. That's a big part of being a master manifester. And Scorpio is a feminine sign, and so is Capricorn. And I do believe during Capricorn season, we at Saturnalia is going to be a big shift. A big shift. I'm going to write about this for the newsletter. 9 of Swords, don't botch it up again. Because yeah, we'll be worse, up late, worrying, sick, because we don't have what we need, because we're too busy giving it away. Save your money is what I'm hearing here. It's time to really tighten the belt and have some discipline. Because if you don't discipline yourself, the universe is going to have to discipline you. That is something that I picked up. So this Sagittarius season, when you get what is coming to you, don't fuck it up. Okay? Where are you being called to journey to? You need to invest your resources, and that is also your energetic resources, into what's important. And you need to have your priorities straight. What are your priorities? What are your priorities? Well, that's what gives you the foundation to have the best time. You know, there's a lot of shadow work that needs to be done to address the shadows that were coming up during Scorpio season. I will tell you that much. There's a lot of shadow work to be done to start rooting in, and, you know, do some research, do some writing, meditation. You need to be meditating every day, every single day. This is not a joke. And, you know, get into your practice, read some literature. Don't do it. Wait, what? I choose you, babe. Sorry, my voice is crazy because I had like trace amounts of dairy, and so my throat is like kind of like closing up with phlegm. My bitch, what does he say? Never let it without a rubber. She like it on top of the covers. Bitch choosing, never let it without a rubber. When I say my girl, y'all know what I'm singing. Why am I 𝗃6 Andre 3000 Players Anthem, International Players Anthem? That's what I was singing. 222. Ah! 2222. Oh my God, on the timer. Oh my God. I feel like folks are coming into union, divine union right now. Divine union. And I'm looking at this temperance in reverse. I feel it. I feel it. It's coming down. Yo, some of you, an angel is coming down. An angel is descending. And here's what it is, okay? If you are a celestial, not every celestial is the same, okay? There are stars, as I'm talking about star power, there are stars, there are planets, there are moons, there are asteroids, you know what I mean? There are nebula, you know, like the cosmic nursery, but there are star systems, you know, and each of those has their own consciousness. And like, if you're a solar system, you know, you have a consciousness. And if you're the oversoul of you're the sun, that's your consciousness in a solar system. And you You're the sun, and your consciousness is the oversoul of a solar system. That means like all of the planets, the moons, all that stuff, they answer to you. And if you're part of a if you have galactic consciousness, that means that you are like really ranked up. Some of y'all need to hear that. Some of y'all need to know what's good, what's up. Okay? But the reason why I'm saying this is because for some of you who have a divine counterpart that is a person, like, you know that you're part of the 144,000, right? 24, I thought I just saw 2424, but then I guess I didn't. 144,000 divided by 2. I think it's 12 times 12. Yeah, so 12 times 12 equals 144. So 12, you're 12 and they're 12, basically. And in order, like, you have there's your counterpart, and like y'all are the perfect match. Like, you might be the negative ion and they're the positive, and y'all make an electron. You understand what I mean? Like, you're the yin, they're the yang. Regardless of gender. Like, social gender, and also regardless of sex. And some of you, like, you needed to reach the fountain, high heart chakra. You needed to reach the fountain. And just so you know, in Scorpio season, it was you that you were fighting. You were fighting your inner demons. You were fighting your shadow. You needed that a lot of the time. A lot of the time, it wasn't witchcraft. You need to triumph over yourself. You need to master yourself. When you have self-mastery and self-sovereignty, then you become a master manifester, magician. Okay? But basically, who I'm talking to, you are divinity on earth. It's not even like, oh, you're an earth angel. So the arrow on the angel is going up. So it's a masculine, and its foot is in the water. It's handling water, has like an Aquarius component to it, pouring from one cup into another. This is the feminine and the masculine pouring into one another. The sun is behind them. Their head, they have a sun symbol on their head, and the rays are going out from their head. What I'm picking up here, though, is this green flash, which is from the 3rd movie when they go to get Jack from Davy Jones' locker. Some of you, your person is developing into the person to finally be with you. Though we have been downloading, okay, I'm not supposed to talk about this on here. I'm going to talk about it in the newsletter. I don't know if I can have like a subscribers channel. I probably should just do a Patreon, but I don't know if I can have a subscribers channel, because I don't have enough followers to have a subscribers channel, I think. But I have to talk about this in the newsletter. Spirit does not want me talking about this just with everybody. So go ahead and subscribe. The information, the link is in the description box. Page of Swords in reverse. Don't be overthinking at this time. You meditate, you journal, you pray, you process. There's no need to overthink. There's no need for that worrying. Because you know what you have to do and you've been known. Did you do it? If you did it, victory is imminent. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Exactly. You just got to get out of your own way. And this right now to me looks like a nug. This bush looks like a nug. All those distractions, all the dissociation, you know, all of the chasing that we do of things outside of ourselves so that we don't have to deal with the inner world. You need to sit down and get clear on what it is you really want. What's your morning routine? What's your evening routine? You know, what are your standards? Like, what is it that you really want? You gotta just work towards that. Because when these people, because it's not just a person, y'all know in cosmic wellness, in the Aetherium and cosmic wellness, the divine counterpart is your whole entire life. Y'all been integrating, so they've been triggering you. Whatever is triggering you, that's the key. That's the medicine, is the trigger. So write it down and get clear on where you got to go back to in your personal history. Okay? Where are you being called to journey to? To heaven on earth. But you've been distracted with like karmic timelines. And that's the whole point. The game is supposed to be distracting. But you have to be willing to say, you know, I'm not going to be distracted. I'm just refilling my hot water kettle so I can drink some tea. You have to be willing to say, I'm not going to be distracted. And I feel like a lot of you, you know, star power here. And I feel like a lot of you have been distracted with fame. And that's, everybody's kind of distracted with fame, like superstars, celebrity. Let me tell you something. Celebrity, the way that we knew it before, does not exist anymore. And it can't and it won't. This is what I was trying to say. The old world is dead and dying. I've been saying this for years. If you've known me, if you've been following this platform, and you can go back and see all the videos I used to have on Patreon because I uploaded them onto YouTube for y'all. I would encourage you to go back and watch them. Especially now, what's going on now is directly correlated to that, to those videos. Okay? And it's important. Don't sleep, don't slack. All right, if you're serious, I'd really tell you to go back and watch those videos. Because I'm not just an oracle, I'm the oracle. Tell you what. This is what I was talking about. It's dead and dying. The last place that you will see what is in the material world. You know how people are passive aggressive and manipulative, narcissistic? Narcissistic abuse does not generally happen externally. Most narcissistic abuse, the majority of it happens in the realm of the mind and emotionally. It'll be spiritual abuse. And if there is physical, it's usually like behind closed doors where people can't see it. Right? The last frontier, I say this all the time, the last frontier is the 3D. The slowest moving. All right? Everything else, you know, so dead and dying. It's reached here. The chaos, the spiritual warfare, it's taking place in 3D now. And you have to just be willing and able and know that, like, you are held. Keepers of the earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. You are being supported. Ask for help. Ask and ye shall receive. What do you want? What do you need? Do what you've been told to do. You know, but you got to get your priorities aligned, because I do know that, like, You know, it's a good idea. You know, it sounds good. You want to do what you want to do all the time because, like, you know that that feels right to you. But yeah, we all have responsibilities. But, you know, if you know that you want to spend 3 hours waking up in the morning because you want to pray, you want to journal, you want to meditate, you want to do some yoga or exercise, take a shower, you want to have a slow breakfast with your cup of coffee, you know what I mean? But you also know that you want to be up and at 'em by 10. You want to be like out, ready to go out the house by 9, 10 p.m. You can't wake up at 9 and expect to do all of that. You can't expect that you're going to have a full day out and about in the world before the sun goes down, not in the northern hemisphere, in November in the northern hemisphere, and be back before sunset and like be able to do your own thing after the sun goes down. No, so you need to think about like what makes your day the best, and like how can that be regular for you? And not having 3, 4, 5, 6 on the timer, not having your favorite type of day, that's okay. 3 being the 3D, reaching up into the 6th dimension. I've been seeing a lot of 3, 5, 4, but this is my first time seeing 3, 4, 5, 6 in a while. Okay. There's 12,000 feminines and 12,000 masculines, and they're in all different kinds of bodies, including intersex. But so, 72,000, excuse me. But then there's 12,000 of the 12 tribes. It's 12,000 each. Yeah, like what your ideal day is. And how you can do that as often as possible. You're not always going to get to have that, but when you do, and like what an off day is going to look like, what can you do in your off day where you can't always wake up early and like what is that going to look like? What are the things that you're going to do that can support you? Because you know that you need that. I know I need to do cardio. I need it. I have digestive issues, and it helps me to be able to digest my food. It helps me keep my dysmorphic thoughts at bay, and it helps regulate my hormones. And yeah, it's really important for me as a person who menstruates to regulate my hormones, especially because like if it like having CPTSD, having had high cortisol levels my whole life, it's really important for me to regulate my hormones and balance them out. So all that to say, you know, I know that I need to do cardio regularly, but like if I'm not on top of my schedule, it might not it may not make it into my day unless I'm intentional about it. And that's another thing about being a master manifester is you have to be intentional. King of Swords, the sword is pointing into the air. He knows where he's going. He knows where he's aiming his arrow. He knows where he's aiming his sword. He knows what he's doing. He's got that sword up in the air like a lightning rod, right? And he's protected. And he's sitting straight up on that throne, self-sovereign. Never lying, truth teller, that Rihanna rain just won't let up. And also diamonds out. No. What is Shine Bright Like a Diamond? That song has come up a lot as well. It used to come up a lot in 2023. Go watch on the Aetherium page lives that I used to do on there. You'll see that it used to come up a lot on there. But yeah. It's time. I can't talk about this on here, but I will talk about it on Substack. And being a mother isn't just being nice at all. It's also being a disciplinarian. Because if you love someone, you discipline them. You don't just let them do whatever they want, because you're setting them up for failure, and you don't set your loved ones up for failure. You know what I mean? Y'all, like, a lot of folks have a mother-child relationship, like the relationship that Livia Soprano and Tony Soprano had. And that's a big part of why people really relate to Tony, and they don't even realize it. They do not even realize that one of the big parts of why they relate to him so much is because their own mothers are narcissists. And that they are caught up in a cycle of narcissistic abuse, 4004. And that is part of the, that's part of the generational trauma that we are healing from. And your ancestors are on your side. They're supporting you. You don't need to worry about the people who are alive. You know you got your ancestors' support. When I decided to go no contact with my family of origin, it was because my own ancestors, I'm a medium. Okay, my own ancestors told me to stay away from them. They don't want me contacting them. They don't want me engaging with them. If you knew the things that they said about you when you weren't around, that's what my ancestors said. And I believe them. And that's what really made me open my eyes. All right, so I just need to pass that on to y'all. And that's what it's giving for the overall energy. And I know I talked a lot about that other stuff. So what I want to do now, I just want to quickly talk about the astrology a little bit, because we talked a lot about the heart. And so I want to talk about Venus. Because we did mention Venus. How can you get what you want and if you are not taking it from others? Because that's what war is about. War is about taking what you want from others by force, because they're not giving it to you. Whereas Venus is diplomatic. And what you want to know is that Eris becomes Athena. People loved Athena. Why? Because she was a perfect balance between masculinity and femininity. The scales of justice, which is actually the goddess Themis. But think about Ma'at, okay? The heart of a child is light as a feather. I think about that all the time. You have to let go of your resentments. And think about Sagittarius as it's light. It's light. There's optimism is associated with Sagittarius. Some of y'all would benefit from reading Candide, which is a story about transformation. Sagittarians are master manifestors because you've already mastered manifestation and you've already mastered alchemy. That's why you're Sagittarius and not a Scorpio. It's not something that like you have to learn in that same right. But if you have Scorpio in your chart, you do actually have to learn about alchemy. And that's a big part of what your life journey is about. But Sagittarius, Sagittarians already know about alchemy and they transmute. This is the Sagittarian thing. Most Sagittarians love to laugh. They're jubilant, jovial. 432 on the timer. countdown I'm hearing. Mission 1, I'm gonna put this on. When you see me in the street, I'm gonna get me some A. Get me bodied. Why is all this stuff coming up so much right now? But yeah, so 4, 3, 2, you know, bring that unconditional love and the frequency of joy to the shadows. Okay, if you're feeling quite depressed, because to be honest, looking at the tropical astrology, we have a triple crossroads. And this is formed by oppositions between Uranus retrograde in Taurus 11th house and the sun entering into the house of the sign of Sagittarius in the 6th house. Mars in the 2nd house in Leo is opposing, excuse me, confirmation burp. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Pluto in Aquarius in the 8th house. Pluto's entering Aquarius. So brand new energy here as well. And then we also have Jupiter retrograde in Gemini in the 12th house. And that is opposing Mercury in Sagittarius in the 6th house. And that makes a triple crossroads. Okay, so that's a lot of anxiety. That's a lot of contention. And it's because of a lot of newness. This is ushering in tremendous change. Pluto is already the sign of change. The planet of change. Aquarius is a sign of extreme change. Rapidization, you know, is what's happening. So you have to be willing to embrace the changes that are coming in. And the way that you'll be able to do that better is to tap into higher wisdoms and pursue the frequency of joy. You cannot know the frequency of joy if your heart is too heavy with resentment and unspoken truths. You know, if you're waiting for the person that you want to come back into your life, maybe you need to go get them. Maybe 555-4556. Maybe you need to just go get them and you need to apologize. Don't let your pride get in the way. And that's something that I said in another reading recently. Like, don't let your pride. Last week, I uploaded a quick little reading. A quick little energy reading and energy healing. Don't let your pride get in the way, okay? That's what y'all need to understand and understand, is how much your fear of looking stupid or looking like the bad person or looking like this or that, you know, do what you got to do to be in Christ. On Christ's solid rock I stand. So if it's the truth, love yourself enough to express it. And whoever can't stand in the truth is not someone who's going to stand in anything. And when adversity hits, they're going to hit the ground. They're going to run away. So you don't need them. You need people who are 10 toes down for you. That's what you need. That's who you need. Okay? So be honest. This is the thing about Sagittarius is they'll say whatever. They'll say the thing that nobody wants to say. Oh my God, how could you say that? Say the thing that needs to be said, though. It needed to be said. All right, I'm going to read what I wrote down about this crossroads. Mission 1, I'ma get me some. When you see me, I'ma get me some A. There are so many more collaborative, generative, harmonious aspects that we can focus on instead of over-investing energy into the three-way crossroads. So you might want to pray to whatever God or saint or angel of the crossroads that you work with. I am sensing Hecate here. And Baron Samedi. Yeah. I will say, though, that this is once again reminding me of wands. And look, we had 3 wands come out here all together. This is once again reminding me of wands, and in this particular case, witchcraft and baneful magics. I'm hearing they know not what they do. Some people have more authority than others, so you really need to stay away from these people, places, and situations that you've been warned against. Don't fucking do it, because your energy is like, you're leveling up. You're moving into higher dimensions of consciousness, so you can finally receive what was meant for you. Okay, you're moving like what was meant for you, and like those people, beings, relationships that are low vibrational, you're not meant to be with them, okay? Because they're holding you back from moving into your divine counterpart, your abundance, the environment that you're supposed to be in. Environment. Let's look at the second house. The moon and Mars here in the sign of Leo, and Mars is opposing Uranus. Okay, the moon and Mars here. You know what you have to do, but you're afraid to do it because you're afraid of how people are going to perceive you. And you need to figure out why that matters so much to you. You know, if you're a hypersensitive person, you need to figure out ways to regulate your sensitivity and to protect yourself. Get your battle gear on. It's not going to be the same as the battle gear that you developed when you were, you know, maladaptive child, having to figure out things on your own that was inappropriate for you to be experiencing because you were too young. Now you're an adult, and now you know, like, you can find out different ways to protect yourself and to show up for yourself. You develop a new spiritual armor in Christ. Okay, and Christ is related to the lion. It's Leo is the sun, what I was talking about, that I'm not allowed to speak about on this platform. And they got some yellow flowers in here too. I'm hearing "Open the Eyes of My Heart," which is a contemporary Christian song. I want to see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Sing this to yourself. Look at your inner child and say this. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Sing that to your inner child, okay? Because that is the child. That's the child of God. You are the child of God. You are the child of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. It don't matter if your parents were not who they were meant to be. Your parents are also children of God too. Unfortunately, they're not evolved. They're not awakened in the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the holistic Spirit. They're still cut off from source because they're cut off from themselves. The divine spark lives within you. Only vampires need to go and find that divine spark in somebody else and plug into them and drain their energy. No, master manifester, a self-sovereign person, knows that that energy is inside of you. That divine spark is inside of you. That portal that takes you to the high heart chakra, that portal that takes you to the fountain of youth, the fountain of life. Unconditional love. You don't go to the well, you go to the river. Where is that? That's in you. And how do you get to the high heart chakra? Through the heart chakra. You got to turn your heart light on. And when you have resentments, when you have hate on your heart, when you have fear on your heart, that turns your heart light off. And why do you have that? Because you're afraid. And why are you afraid? Because it has to do with your solar plexus and your root chakra. Something happened to your root chakra that made you feel like you couldn't be stable. You had to figure it out yourself. It disconnected you from the Most High Divine Creator. Disconnected you from the Most High Divine Creator. Okay? I know that it's been a long journey. Oh, I guess like maybe I don't feel like I know who like the big superstars who are not Black would be, because like I'm focused on like Black people. Because I am Black. But I guess big people for other people would be like Ariana Grande. But she's not from that time. And I really don't think that like millennials, I guess millennials care about Ariana Grande. I mean, she wouldn't have, she's not from that time. She wasn't on any of those shows, but she was on like Nickelodeon when those shows were ending. So I guess that's like significant. I mean, who was big back then? Also, I mean, yeah, okay, like people like Paris Hilton were big back then. Kim Kardashian. Um, I'm really trying to think. Uh, who else? Mm, I don't know. I can't really think of anybody right now, but those people, you know, they did dominate. I mean, less so Paris, even though she kind of always is. I mean, she actually, yeah, she was dominating in her own way, just not as in the public eye. Dude, that was so weird. That was just like well, the medium is mediuming. But yeah, so, but Kim, really, really was out there. Um, but yeah, so think that to your inner child and think about how you can like really glorify them and give all the glory to God through honoring your inner child, even if your parents were not good parents to you. Like if you felt like you couldn't trust God because your parents let you down, that can often make a breach between you and the universe, and you and a divine power, and you and a power greater than yourself, because the power greater than yourself let you down. Your parents let you down. The adults let you down. They didn't take care of you the way that they were supposed to take care of you. And now you're afraid. It doesn't even matter if it was your parents, if it was your teachers, anybody who was supposed to be taking care of you, be in charge of you, be uplifting you, empowering you, protecting you, and caring for you. They were not doing that. And that broke your trust in the covenant that you made with a higher power to come here and be cared for. The thing is, we knew what could happen because we knew what was happening on earth when we came here. Divine army. Do remember, the angels are an army. The angels are an army. All right? They're not just like, let's play the harp and, sing for God. No, they're an army. They've been battling for eons, millennia at least. War in heaven. So yeah, I just want to like really communicate that is like, I just keep hearing, pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Forgive so that more of your power can come to you. Let it go, let it go, let it go. You don't have to fuck with them. You don't have to like them. All you have to do is be like, okay, this is not mine anymore. You got to forgive yourself. A lot of the time, it's not even about forgiving the other person. It's about forgiving yourself. And holding on to that resentment is so that you can hold on to the hate that you really feel about that situation towards yourself. If they could only apologize to me, I could move on. But why? Why can't you move on without them apologizing to you? You think that them apologizing to you is going to make you feel better? Because it really might not. The only way that you're going to feel better is if you feel better. And you don't have to have them apologize to you for you to be able to feel better. It's time for you to stop looking at other people as your higher power. Okay? Turn to a force greater than people, because people will always let you down. But there will also always be a person in the collective. It is a power greater than you. There will always be a person of the 8 billion on earth who can show up. And we are emissaries, each and every single one of us. We're all children of God who will show up and help you out. Whether that person was in the past, 100 years ago, and they created a foundation, a scholarship using their wealth that you got, you don't know how you're going to go to college, but then you got this scholarship. That person was an angel in your life. You didn't even know it because y'all know one another because they were around. That happened 100 years ago, that they're an angel in your life and you got that scholarship and you got to go to college when you thought that you weren't going to. All right. It's really like that. Don't be a linear thinker because it will keep you trapped. Going back to that collaboration. Some people have more authority than others, but ultimately we all have the power of manifestation through our words, air, and actions, fire. This doesn't mean that people are actually doing magics against you, but they may be staring at your social media, giving the evil eye. So pocket watching, hating. Mum's really the word. Trust me on this, feel me on this, hear me on this. Mum's really the word, bro. Be discerning and don't let anyone you don't trust spend too much time with access to you. Certainly do not let them in on the joke or sip your tea. Be very careful. And if this is challenging for you, I would encourage you to sit down and think, okay, so like for me, when people ask me questions and I don't know what to say, I start to flounder. So you write a script for yourself. If this happens, then I'll do this. If this happens, then I'll do this. Sometimes I'll be like, oh my God, what if this happens? What if I see this person? And then I'll just remind myself, if I see that person, I will probably say, hello. That's what I say to everybody. You know what I mean? But like some people, I will not say anything to them and I will just walk on by. And that is something that I have to, you know, if it's a relationship it's that contentious, I have to know that that's what I'm going to do. So that I can be prepared for when it comes and it doesn't like dysregulate my nervous system because I wasn't prepared. Okay? Write your script. Like, oh, but I don't know what to say if I'm not going to tell the truth. I don't know what to talk about if I'm not going to talk about what I'm doing. Create a list of things to talk about and do. Because a lot of us who are star seeds and like others, I call us outliers. A lot of us who are outliers, you know, ethereal beings, what have you, anybody with supernatural powers, if you're an outlier, you probably identify as being neurodivergent to some degree. And it's not necessary for us to pathologize. It's helpful. It's really helpful, actually, to be able to communicate. My experience is that I experience this cluster of symptoms that is referred to as ADHD or Asperger's spectrum or autism spectrum disorder or generalized anxiety disorder or, you know, sensory processing disorder, auditory processing disorder, dyslexia, unfortunately, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, all of those types of things, antisocial personality disorder. Spirit really wanted me to say that my phone is on a low percentage. Damn, I think I forgot my charger. No, I have it. I'm gonna grab my charger. Yeah, I'm gonna grab my charger. So I think we're gonna have to take my headphones out. Let's pause.